I hope your day is full of lions and tigers and cats, kittens, bobcats, cougars, panthers. It's a fucking feline intro. Was I planning on getting into felines? No. I originally did an intro with apes and primates, and I thought that I knew more apes and primates than I actually do. I started it by being like lemurs and then I ran out. I said lemurs and gorillas, and then that was it. That's all a bitch had. Maybe chimpanzees. I think I hit chimpanzees. Guys, what's up? Happy Wednesday. It is Shenk reporting live from Los Angeles. I just got back in last night from New York. If you came out to a show in New York, thank you so much for coming out and supporting live comedy. Kim Congdon and I opened for Joey Diaz at Sony Hall on Saturday. We had a great time. I also did Barstool Sports. I did Legion of Skanks. I did Guys We Fucked. So a lot of fun podcasts coming out soon. I also did Zach Amico's podcast Spook Fest with Jamar Neighbors, where we watched a scary movie and talked about it, and that was so much fun too. So if you're looking for some fun podcasts, those are all coming out or out already. As another exciting thing is this weekend, actually tomorrow, I'm leaving for Vegas. I will be at Skank Fest. Tonight I will be at the Comedy Store. After this comes out, it will have already happened, but I'm headed to the Comedy Store tonight to do Ryan Sickler's show, and that's going to be so much fun. It's a great lineup. It's Santino, Bobby Lee, Kim's on it, Eleanor Kerrigan's on it, George Perez is on it. We're going to have so much fun. And if you're coming out to Vegas, we'll see you this weekend at Skank Fest. I have 3 spots on Skank Fest, and then I'm going to be doing some video stuff as well. So hope to see you at Skank Fest. If you can't make it to Skank Fest, I know they are streaming it on Mint Comedy. I think it's on the Skank Fest Instagram. So that's a fun way to stay involved if you can't make it out. And also, yeah, it's going to be a great time. I'm performing 3 sets, plus we'll be all hanging out for the goddamn comedy jam, which is my favorite part of Skank Fest. Yes, I will be crowd surfing. Yes, there will probably be video footage of it. And Kim and I have Xavier coming with us, so you're going to get to see some fun behind the scenes content of us at Skank Fest. We also had a camera guy with us in New York, so you'll be able to see some fun behind the scenes stuff of us in New York as well. If you're not subscribed to the Patreon, it's patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk, $5 a month. You get extra bonus content. You get the episode of This Bitch a week early, plus you get extra thirst traps, and sometimes you get extra behind the scenes footage. So link to that in the description of this episode. Once again, that's patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk for all of your bonus Shank content. And another thing, before we get into this week's episode of Shank, I want to remind you guys that I am coming to Texas. That's right, Austin, Texas, the beginning of January. Kim Congdon and I will be at the Vulcan Gas Co. on, I believe it's January 7th, but you can find out all of that fun info on my Instagram at Princess Shenk. There's going to be 2 shows, 1 live podcast, so an episode of This Bitch Live, then followed by that, we're going to be co-headlining, so you get to see both of our longer sets. If you haven't seen us do, a full 30 of comedy, I can't tell you, and you're in Texas, this is the perfect show. You get to see the podcast, then you get to see us do some stand-up. It's going to be a fun fucking night. I think we're also going to do Kill Tony while we're in town, so look out for us in Texas, beginning of January, at Princess Shenk for exact dates and more info. And before we get into this week's episode of Shenk, look down at your feet right now. Are you wearing socks? If you're not wearing socks, ask yourself why. Socks are essential. They protect your most valuable asset, your toes. Toes are a form of currency in 2022, almost 2023. How head over to ohyeah.com. That's 3 O's HYEAH.com. Discount code Sara, SARA 10 for 10% off unique sock designs. Whatever you're into, there's a pair of socks for you. Whether you're into cupcakes or donuts or animals or aliens or Bob Ross or Mr. Rogers or whatever you're into, there's a pair of socks for you. I guarantee it. Dungeons and Dragons, if that's your vibe. If you're into fruit, they got fruit socks. Whatever you're into, there's a pair of socks for you. And what I love about them most is that they make amazing gifts. I love giving my friends cute pairs of socks. Boys or girls can get down with a pair of Oh Yeah socks. They have so many different socks to choose from. They make great gifts. If someone's having you over, bring them a pair of socks and support your favorite podcast. Nobody wakes up and says, you know what I wish I had less of? Socks. I always am happy to find socks. Clean socks, fun socks. They can change the trajectory. Whoa, did she have trouble saying trajectory? Yes, she did. They could change the trajectory of your day. Go on, shopohyeah.com, tell them Shenk sent you, and make sure to hit up the Patreon. And then again, at Princess Shenk on Instagram and Twitter for show dates and more. And you can follow what I'm doing there. Plus, clips of This Bitch podcast. Also subscribe to This Bitch podcast. New episodes of This Bitch come out every Monday with me and Kimberly Congdon. And then you can also find me here every Wednesday on Shenk on this channel. And then hit the Patreon if you're looking for bonus Shenk. If you're a certified Shanksta and you're looking for more Shenk content. We also have This Bitch podcast merch. We have Honey shirts and 69 Noise shirts. So go show our store some love and support the pods. I can't tell you how excited I am to see you guys here every week. Thank you for continuing to come by. Again, this week we're having another solo episode because my schedule is fucking bonkers. So I don't have time to get someone here to record with them. My schedule is too crazy. So I'm going to be doing a couple solo episodes, which are going to be fun. They're going to be fun. They're going to be an inside Shenk pod. I mean, who doesn't want to know more about your girl? If you're here, then you're interested. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I had a bunch of people send me a bunch of questions. So let's get into the questions right now. Okay, here we go. I have them on the floor and Post-its. Your girl's creative. Sometimes when you're creative, messes pop up. You don't even realize it. You're like, oh, sorry, I'm just busy being creative. Didn't mean to cause another mess. I'm not dirty, I'm messy. I would call it organized chaos. Like if you go into my apartment, there'll never be any dirt, but there will be chaos. And by chaos, I mean, yes, I have so many pairs of socks and some of them don't fit into my drawer. So I put them in different places, sweetie. When you're me, you need a lot of socks, especially if you have Oh Yeah as a sponsor. Okay. Where do I find purpose outside of my career? This is a really interesting question, and I think it's an important question because I do think that most people associate their worth with their profession, and I think that that's a slippery. Whoa, I'd like to buy a vowel. That's a slippery slope because you need to gain satisfaction and purpose from things besides just your work because everything's temporary and you want to be able to enjoy your time on this planet, right? So for me, I love being outside. I find that to be really soothing and calming. And as an anxious, chaotic bitch, I need to be outside. I need to take a walk. I need to see some trees. I need to drink some water. I need to get some cardio. I need some endorphins. So I love just reconnecting with nature. I love going to the beach. I love being outside. I find purpose when I hang out with my friends. I find purpose when I hang out with my family. I find purpose a lot of times when I leave Los Angeles and then come back. I feel like I have a better understanding of where I'm supposed to be. Listen, I can't keep up with the New York lifestyle. My feet hurt. I walked more than I've walked in years, okay? When your bitch is walking 7 miles a day, you can't expect her to do a podcast with another person. You're just going to have to tune in to see me riff about my chaotic life. Okay, let's see what else we have. I also find purpose in reading. I mean, that's a lie. I haven't read a book in quite some time, but I do enjoy, outside extracurricular activities, if you will. Like, I love a self-help book. A bitch loves a self-help book. I love Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you guys have read The Power of Intention, but that's one of my favorite books. When you're a comedian, you find purpose in self-help books. You say, you know what? Let's try to turn this around. Let's try to figure out what's wrong with my cabeza. Yeah, I said cabeza. I'm a quarter Puerto Rican. I can say cabeza. Catch me getting canceled for saying cabeza wrong. Favorite city in the country. Favorite city in the country. Okay. Depends on my mood. Here's the thing. I love New York. I'm exhausted from being in New York. I don't like really seeing people slumped over on heroin on the side of the subway. That's not really my vibe. I like cleanliness. I like the sunshine. I like white teeth. I'm a Los Angeles bitch, okay? I try to fight it, but I am. I like my car. I like my $7 lattes. I like the sunshine. And I like to say like a lot. And if you have a problem with that, sweetie, I don't know what to tell you. Shank's gonna shank. I am who I am. I'm an LA bitch. I can't fight it. I tried to fight it. I went to New York. I got involved. And you know what? I'm exhausted. Being in New York for a week just proved to me that I belong in Los Angeles. Times Square, exhausting. The subway, a lot. Because you know what it is about the subway? You get to see all these different people throughout their chaotic days. And some people, you can just look at them and be like, dude, I'm not trying to absorb that energy. There's bitches on the subway who just had an abortion. You know what I mean? And now you're sharing that energy. There's people who are running late for work and now you're sharing that energy. There's someone who's in the middle of a divorce and now you're sharing that energy. And I like the sense of community. I like the chaos of New York. I like that you could be screaming off the top of your lungs in New York and nobody notices. That's just a Wednesday, sweetie. Let's just par for the course. In Los Angeles, if you scream, people are like, oh, you need medication. You need a yoga class. In New York, if you scream, they go, love to see you alive in the city, baby. That's just part of it. That's part of the culture. And I'm an LA girl. I like my lattes. I like my sunshine. And I like the word like. And I'm not sorry about it. I'm not going to apologize for being a valley girl. I am who I am, baby. Do I have a type? No. If I had a type, it would probably make my life easier. If you lined up every man that I dated, you would say, what the fuck? These people have nothing in common. It would be, honestly, if you lined up the people that I have dated, it would be essentially the same as if a blind man picked 10 random women out and put them in a line. You could be like, oh, this man, he doesn't have a type because he's blind. It's kind of like that with me. Like, oh, a white man with dreads, yeah, I've dated that. A black guy, yeah, I've dated that. A Jew, dated that. You name it, your girl's dated it. So I don't have a type. I tend to go for personality, sense of humor, and I like someone who has good hygiene. These are the minimum, okay? I need someone who's good at engaging with other people, socializing. I need someone who... My favorite thing is going to a party with the person that you're dating and not having to babysit them at the party because you know that they're adult enough to carry a conversation by themselves. Because there's truly nothing worse than having to babysit your partner while you're at a social gathering. Okay. If you date someone whose social skills are not advanced, it's a problem. And here's the thing. I'm not a big social butterfly. My favorite thing to do, sweatpants. My favorite thing to do, sleep. My favorite thing to do, take a bath, have a juice, have a tea, have a coffee. I'm down with relaxing activities. The only activity that I don't fucks with is puzzles, and I've already talked about that in last week's episode of Shenk. You bring me a puzzle, I'm bringing it to the trash, sweetie. Okay? Someone asked, would I date the perfect guy if he had webbed feet? Yeah, I would date the perfect guy if he had webbed feet. You're not asking me if he had a webbed dick. You're asking me if he had a webbed feet. Sweetie, socks and shoes do wonders. He's probably going to be an incredible swimmer, which is something I'm bad at. So if it's the perfect guy and he has webbed feet, if that's you, slide in mommy's DMs, because I'm looking for love and I don't care if your feet are webbed. As long as the rest of you's quote unquote perfect. What does perfect even mean? Do you know what I mean? What is perfect? What's perfect to me might not be what's perfect to you. But if it's perfect to me, I don't give a fuck that he has webbed feet, because if he's perfect to me, he's got a big dick and he's got tattoos, and I can look past his toes. And I can cover up his toes with a pair of Oh Yeah socks from ohyeah.com. That's 3 O's HYEAH.com. Enter discount code Sarah10. Oh yeah, is gonna love that bonus ad they got, sweeties. All because of the webbed feet question. Okay. Someone asked me if I was going to go on a comedy tour, what cities would I like to visit outside of the US? And so far, what I have written down, I would really love to go to Australia. I know they have a cool comedy scene there, and I know that there's people who listen to my podcast out in Australia, so I'd love to come see you. I'd love to hold a kangaroo. I'd love to hold a koala. I don't know if I'm romanticizing the idea of holding a marsupial or if it's everything that it's cracked up to be, but either way, I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Scotland. I would love to do the Fringe Fest in Scotland. That seems really dope. The Fringe Fest is an annual comedy festival where comedians can go and do spots every night, like 30-minute sets twice a night. You can have 2 shows a night. So it's really ideal if you're trying to grind out stand-up or working on a special or something like that. And I do want to release a special, so I think it would be great to just go grind stand-up out in Scotland at the Fringe Festival. That's something that I'm looking into for next year. We'll see if it happens. I also love doing comedy in New York. When I was doing comedy in New York, I had the best time. It was so much fun. The comics are incredible. The scene's great. It's really easy. It's a lot easier for me to get stage time in New York just because there's so much more stage time, and the spots are so fun. I had so much fun at the Stand. I had so much fun at Sony Hall. If you haven't been to Sony Hall, check it out. Joey Diaz is doing residency there. It's amazing. The theater is beautiful. The people who work there are amazing. The lights are fun. They have it's just an experience, and I can't tell you how much I loved being in New York and doing comedy in New York. So besides the heroin needles and people walking everywhere, and the other thing about New York that I kind of like, because this doesn't happen in LA, you're walking down the street, men are calling you. Okay, you feel like a goddamn queen in the streets of New York. They treat you like you're the most beautiful thing they've seen in a year. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't happen in LA. In LA, the men are more passive. You walk by them, they're too busy worrying about the way they look to really notice you. This is just what I've noticed. This is just my experience day to day living in Los Angeles. No one's gonna... That's my poor attempt at a whistle. This is the thing. I wish I could whistle. I wish I had a strong whistle. I feel like it could get me out of some jams, but you can't have everything. I could work on it, yes. Or I should have a necklace that has a whistle. Your girl's gonna need to get a rape whistle. It's 2022. I've been touring. I need a whistle. You know what else I would like? A harmonica on a necklace. Have you seen this? I saw someone with a harmonica on a necklace, and here's the thing. Yes, I got rid of my keyboard because I realized that I wasn't going to play it at any point. in my life. It was sitting in my kitchen for so long, was making me feel bad that I wasn't musically advanced at all. It's made me feel bad that I leased a keyboard and haven't tickled the ivories, haven't touched it. So I sold it, okay? And now I'm looking to replace that with a more convenient instrument, with something that's just right there when you need it. And you know what that is? A harmonica necklace, okay? Who doesn't want to have a Bob Dylan moment while they're walking down the street? Catch me next week with a harmonica necklace. I don't know. I don't know if playing the harmonica is hard. It's something that I feel like I could do. Yes, sure, I thought I could play the keyboard, but that requires a lot of brain, okay? And your girl's brain is in so many different places. It's in comedy, it's in podcast, a harmonica around my neck. Sometimes you just gotta hit a harmonica to feel like a real musician. What I'm saying is, catch me next week on this podcast with a harmonica necklace. If I don't have it, send one to the comedy store. Catch me asking my fans for gifts. Let's see what else there is. What are my favorite rock bands? Okay, this is a good question. Rolling Stones. Favorite Rolling Stones songs are Beast of Burden, Wild Horses, of course, Satisfaction, Mama's Little Helper. What else? What other rock bands? I love Led Zeppelin. My favorite Led Zeppelin songs are Tangerine, Going to California. What else would be considered a rock band? Would the Grateful Dead be considered a rock band, or is that more of a jam band? I don't know. I mean, I love the classics. Gotta love Eric Clapton. I would say that's rock. I don't know. I think that's it. I love Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. Does Fleetwood Mac count as rock? I'm not sure. What makes someone's type? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what makes somebody's type, because I told you, and I'll say it again, if you lined up the men that I dated, they all look like they would never be in a room together. It would look like like when you go to, because I feel like most people, when you line up their exes, it would almost look like a commercial casting. It would be the same type. Not me. I'd have a redhead. I'd have a balding redhead. I'd have a white dude with dreads. I'd have a black guy. I'd have a Middle Eastern guy. Listen, a bitch has tasted the rainbow, okay? I don't have a type. So I don't really know what makes someone's type. I think it just has to do with, for me, it's personality and energy. So if you come at me with good energy and you're fun to be around and you're smart and you're interesting and you're capable of having a conversation and you smell good, I'm in. Do you know what I mean? But if you come up to me and you have a heavy energy, if you have the energy of someone who just, got dumped, that's not a fun energy for connecting with somebody new. Okay? What else did I want to touch on today? I don't know. I've realized from going to New York, I need to go more places. So if you're a Shankster and you want to see me on tour, let me know what cities you want me to come to in the comments below, and we'll try to make that happen. Okay? Because as much as I love being in the LA sunshine and amongst my people of the glamorous lifestyle of Los Angeles, I do need to go out and see more things so I can connect with you guys. So if there's a city you want me to come to, I'm looking into Denver, I'm looking into Florida, I'm looking into a few other places, and then again, Australia, the UK, Scotland. Sound off in the comments below if there's somewhere in particular you want me to come, okay? All right, let's get back to these questions. Okay, so now someone wants to know what's a weirder fetish, an armpit fetish or a foot fetish. For me, the armpit fetish, I almost get more than the foot fetish, because when you're really into someone, pheromones smell so good, and like the smell of somebody's armpit that you love, is there a better scent? Is there a better scent than the armpit of a man that you love? I really don't think so. But an armpit fetish, is that someone who like worships armpits? Because if you're worshiping an armpit, that's weird. Like, how do you even worship an armpit? Like, you put your head in the armpit, you put your foot in the armpit, like you put your dick in an armpit. Like, that seems weird. Do you know what I mean? I think it's weird to be looking at people's armpits and then using that as a way to get turned on and to fuck them. But I understand the smell of like, because there's nothing better than smelling someone's armpit whose pheromones you like. Do I have an armpit fetish? I don't know. What exotic animal is my dream pet? None, because I'm not mentally ill. You're not going to see me with a lemur, sweetie. You're not going to see me cuddling with a kangaroo. I am a well-adjusted adult. I don't have the urge to contain wildlife within my home. You're not going to see me walking a cheetah. I mean, walking a cheetah would be a fashion statement, but I don't think I would. I don't want to get eaten. I'm not mentally ill enough to bring an animal into my home that would potentially eat me. Do you know what I mean? I don't want an animal that's going to outlive me or eat me because I'm not that type of mentally ill. Sure, I'm mentally ill enough to have a podcast where I'm talking into the ether by myself, but that's a lot different than taking an exotic animal into your home. I'm not going to have a Bengal. Okay? Thank you. All right, I have more questions from you guys. Let's see what else we have. Here we go. Okay. No, these aren't questions. These are just things that I wrote down to discuss. Dogs in strollers. What the fuck is happening with that? Los Angeles has an epidemic of people who put their dogs in strollers, and it's dark. It's a bad scene. It's really jarring when you go to look inside a stroller and you're expecting to see a baby and a paw pops out. It just screams, something bad happened to me. Or it screams, I want children, but I'm not ready to make the commitment. Or maybe I'm infertile. That's why I have my dog in a stroller. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love dogs and I love babies. I don't think that we need to it's like putting a dog in a crib. Are you putting a dog in a crib? Are you putting a dog in a playpen? No. It's weird. It's a cry for help. If I see a woman pushing a stroller and I look inside and it's a dog, she's given weird kooky aunt energy. And as a kooky aunt myself, I'm not trying to advertise to everyone how fucking kooky I am. Once you start pushing a dog in a stroller, you've lost all self-awareness. Do you know what I mean? Unless the dog has a bum leg. If the dog has a bum leg or it's a three-legged dog, that's different. I'd rather see it in a stroller than struggling to hop about. But if you're just putting your dog in a stroller because it's tired, you need therapy. You need an SSRI, sweetie. Adults with teddy bears in their cars. What is this about? Have you ever been... I was at a red light with somebody and the back of their car was just filled with a collection of stuffed animals. And to me, there's nothing scarier or more jarring than when an adult has... Not only do they have a bunch of transitional objects, aka stuffed bears, but they're advertising to the world that this is cool. They're like, the world needs to see that I'm mentally ill. So I'm going to place all of these Beanie Babies on my dashboard because I don't give a fuck. If you're placing stuffed animals in the back of your car so people can see them who are driving behind you, then you need to be 5150'd. And as someone who's been 5150'd, I stand by that. I say, hey, if I walk into a man's house and he has teddy bears, I'm walking back out that house. If I'm a man and I walk into a woman's house and she has teddy bears and she didn't even think to hide the teddy bears, instead she's boldly laying them about, they're strewn about the house. Sometimes she's showing off the teddy bears. I don't want to see teddy bears in an adult woman's house, and I don't want to see dolls in an adult woman's house. If I see dolls in an adult woman's house, I know she hasn't had sex in at least 6 months to a year. I don't think anyone who's actively fucking, I don't think any woman that's actively fucking is advertising dolls. There's truly nothing worse than seeing a doll that has blinky eyes and like one of them's up and one of them's down. If I walk into a woman's room and she had a doll and the doll was like this, because you know how the dolls blink? You know how they got those blinking eyes and one eye's open and one eye's closed? Is there anything more haunted than a bitch with dolls? I think dolls are worse than stuffed animals. I would rather see a sex doll because at least I know you are interested in sex than multiple dolls. I don't want to see porcelain dolls. I don't want to see some weird haunted vintage doll. I don't need to see it. I don't want to see baskets, dolls, or stuffed animals. If I see baskets, dolls, or stuffed animals, or all of those in one place, I'm walking out. You know, if you walk into someone's house and there's dolls and stuffed animals, you know it's going to have a weird smell. It's musty. No one wants to be around old stuffed animals. If you're an adult woman and you have old stuffed animals, give them away, give them to a child, or hide them somewhere. Hide them somewhere where a man won't see them. Because if I walk into a room and I'm interested in sleeping with someone and they got teddy bears, I'm out. Okay. Carving a pumpkin. Why are we doing it? Has anyone ever carved a pumpkin? It seems romantic. It seems festive. It seems fun until you sit down to do it, okay? You got to take the innards out of a gourd. I don't want to cut open a gourd because it's a little more crisp outside. What the fuck is happening? You know, pumpkins are great just by themselves. You know what? I might paint a pumpkin. I don't want to get up in the pumpkin's guts. It's too much. It's actually kind of a violation to the pumpkin. You know, let me slice open this gourd's skull so I can carve a face into it. What? And then put a candle in it. What? Why are we doing that? It's a weird ass tradition. Halloween is a weird ass tradition. Carving a pumpkin, dogs and clothes. Okay, dogs and clothes is a tough one for me because as a woman who fucking loves clothes, I have this overwhelming sensation to want to put my dog in clothes. And then when I see a dog in clothes, they look miserable. But is there anything cuter than a dog in a raincoat? I see a dog in a raincoat. I see a woman who wants kids but is too afraid to commit. If I see a dog in a raincoat and he's in a stroller, that person needs help. Marshmallows. I started thinking about who is the first person to toast a marshmallow because originally, if somebody took a marshmallow and you've never seen this done before and they place the marshmallow underneath an open flame, you would think they were out of their fucking mind. If somebody brought me a toasted marshmallow and I had never seen a toasted marshmallow before, I'd say, what the fuck did you do to my marshmallow? And then I'd taste it and I'd say, fuck, you're onto something. What else can we toast up to make it taste a little better? You know, catch me toasting licorice just to see what it's about. Fortune cookies. Yeah, being in LA, there's people who base their lives off of fortune cookies. I've had friends who have taken the fortune from the cookie and taped it to their refrigerator for years. Is that insane? I don't know. No more insane than putting dogs in strollers and pushing them around. This has been a wild episode. We've covered a lot of stuff. I also have, what exotic animal is my dream pet? Also, maybe a giraffe. I feel like it would be mean to have a giraffe in your house, though. Like, it's mentally ill. Having an exotic animal is mentally ill. If you have an iguana, let me just bring in the rhino for the weekend. What? What are you fucking talking about? What do rhinos even eat? On TikTok, I saw that they were eating watermelon and it was really fun. No, that was a hippo. It was a hippo eating a watermelon. Guys, once I start talking about hippos eating watermelon, you know it's time to go. This is a solo episode of Shenk. I covered a lot of different things. I appreciate you tuning in every week to this podcast. It's a growing podcast. We are going to have guests coming after Skank Fest. I plan on either doing one more solo podcast or having guests. So if there's guests you want to hear on the pod, sound off in the comments below. You know, I love giving you guys the content that you want. If you're interested in my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Sara Weinshenk for bonus footage. And you can find me here every Wednesday, and you can find me this weekend at Skank Fest. I'm leaving tomorrow, so come say hi if you're at Skank Fest. I love meeting you guys. I love taking pictures, all of those things. I want to have a really fun time. I will probably crowd surf. There will be footage of it. I hope you guys have a best Wednesday. And also remember, I'm coming to Texas in January with Kim Congdon. If you're an Austin mommy or an Austin daddy and you're looking for comedy, make sure to come out in Vulcan Gas Co. first, or it's like the second weekend. It's the weekend of the 6th and the 7th in January. We're doing a show. We're doing a live podcast. It's going to be such a great fun time with me and Kimberly Congdon. And then more comedy dates on my Instagram at Princess Shenk, on my Twitter at Princess Shenk. And if you're enjoying this podcast, leave a review. It just takes 1 second. And if there's a special guest you want to see, tweet me. Let me know at Princess Shenk. And thank you guys so much for continuing to support and to subscribe to this podcast every week. We'll see you next week on Wednesday. Happy hump day, my little babies, my little Shankstas. See you soon. Bye.